I'm 27 years old and I own an accounting practice here on the Gold Coast in Broadbeach Waters.
Excellent. Now, if you want to start things off by maybe giving us a success story from one of your recent clients, or maybe a good business case that you've worked on that's been a success.
Okay, success story. So recently, let's have a think. So we actually brought on a new client probably only a couple of months ago. They'd been with their prior accountants for, I'd say, like the last 10 years. And they came to us, and what we do is we always do like an initial review with any new business that we take on. And the review is not just for tax. We do it like a holistic approach review and have a look at everything from their structuring, asset protection, of course, their tax itself, and even looking at the whole family as a whole to see how we can do things a little bit better. So they came in, they had sat down, and I said, look, can you just give me your last 2 years tax returns, financial statements? I'll review them because you're allowed to, if they're a small business, anywhere between 2 to 4 years, go back and actually amend any errors and those sort of things. Anyway, we did that, figured out that the accountant had been doing a few things wrong, and we saved them in one hit 120 grand. 120,000 bucks in one hit. So that just basically made their year already. So they were behind 120k at this point in time, and we only changed 2 years. So we couldn't go back any further.
Yeah.
But it was just that's the power of correct structuring and I guess seeing someone that is looking a little bit deeper than just getting that tax return done and then seeing you next year. So that was a really big win for both of us, because for us that's a really, I guess it's a really good testimonial.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's huge.
So that was a really good one for us.
So it's fair to say they came on board as a client then?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. So we've been getting a few clients off them as well, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're over the moon. They're I think they even take a holiday or something like that now, because they just have this extra cash that they didn't have beforehand. And it was really in his business. They're in the construction industry, and it was just something that cash flow is one of the biggest issues. So yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, so pretty happy with that.
So there's probably a misconception in terms of what an accountant actually does, or in your case, you kind of fall into accountant/business advisor. So can you explain in the simplest terms what you actually do as an accountant and business advisor?
Yeah, most definitely. Look, in most cases, when you ask someone, whenever we go out to parties, they ask us what we do, and you say, look, I'm an accountant, and they're like, oh, you must love numbers and you must love doing tax returns. I think that's the most stereotypical judgment of what an accountant is. But a lot of people actually don't know. There are so many different types of accountants. You've got your auditors, you've got your forensic, you've got your lawyers, your tax lawyers, so lawyers that have just gone down in the tax way. But we actually focus on small business advisory in the public practice area. So yes, we do tax, but that's just one of the aspects that we focus on within our business. A lot of it is directed to small businesses. So what we do, whether it's a new startup or someone that's fully established, we sit down and we go through all of their basically their whole life. We lay it down on paper and figure out the best way of how they're going to achieve their goals, whether it be their business goals, personal goals, and put it all together. So it's probably not what a lot of people think of when they think accountant. We do a lot of business planning and structuring and working with business owners to get where they want to be.
Yeah.
So that's our accounting business in a nutshell.
Awesome. Yeah. So not just tax.
Yeah, exactly right. It's not just looking at the tax, and a lot of people come to us and be like, oh, I bet you can save a lot of tax in your refunds, but yeah, I mean, on your tax return, sorry, you can get a lot of refunds, but I think a lot of them don't realise that businesses don't really get refunds. in the sense because they're always paying because they never have someone holding tax for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So why is it important, especially obviously from a small business owner perspective, why is it important to have a good accountant on board as part of their team?
Look, I think it's important to have, like you said, a good and reliable accountant on board because there are so many accountants out there that are stuck in their ways of just, I like to call it the pump and dump. So basically get as many clients as they can, do the tax return, see them once a year and basically just churn. And those accountants, yes, they make a lot of money, but I wouldn't necessarily call them the good accountants or the accountants that you want on your team. So, for us, it's more about being a part of your teams and working together because we know that if we work with you and you grow big, we sort of, come along with that journey with you and have that long-term success with you. So why is it important to have a good accountant? Because you will understand exactly where your business is heading. You have basically someone that you can bounce ideas off and ask questions when you're stuck. This day and age, the accounting industry is changing a lot because of software and technology, and it's really changing the scene of what an accountant is and should be. So no longer do we look at historical figures anymore, where we see them, after 30 June, we're always at that present point in time trying to figure out what's going on with the business. So having a good accountant, I say that the most beneficial thing is just understanding your business in a real time basis and making the right decisions when you need to. That's the benefits of having a good accountant.
And do you think with the software, having that real-time data, being able to see things at your fingertips, that's what's putting the pressure on those old school accountants that are reluctant to change, where like you come in, having that data, having that software, you can say, right, this is what's happening right now. Whereas the old school method, as you said, wait till 30 June. All right, let's fix up the issues and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, that method was fine, but the problem with that is that you wait 6 months to find out that you could have closed the business down or pivoted in a different direction to make your business work. And sometimes, in most cases, it's too late. You're sitting in a $60,000 to $100,000 loss when you shouldn't have been. Maybe your tax debt's just gone wild. And these are the things that you would never have been able to see unless you had an accountant that was continuously doing your work. And back in the day, that probably wasn't feasible in terms of cost. Otherwise, you'd have to have an internal accountant. But yeah, definitely a big change.
And what's one of the most unique businesses that you've worked with so far?
Unique businesses. We get a lot of businesses that are in the app and I guess e-commerce space, and a lot of them are fairly unique in terms of what they're trying to create. In terms of apps, we have guys within the cryptocurrency space trying to be in that bubble and create something new and different. And in the e-commerce space, we have guys creating all these crazy products and thinking of ways to just really be unique in that market space as well. I'm trying to think of one that's actually that's super unique, and I just have to be careful on what I actually say. But maybe I'll just leave with the industry. I guess the e-commerce space and the app space is where we see a lot of really interesting ideas in there. Look, we also work with a few sports people and those sort of things, which is interesting as well. Get to see their lives and what's involved. So that's pretty cool as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what's following on from that in terms of on the business train of thought? What's like some of the most common issues you find in a business?
Okay, most common issues probably cash flow. I would say cash flow is with a growing business is one of the most common issues. Not being to identify what cash is actually the owners, what cash is the businesses, what cash is the ATOs. So that's something that clients really, really struggle with, and it gets to the point where it's just gotten out of control. That it's a process to get back to that place where they need to be. It also causes a lot of roadblocks to growth. For example, we have e-commerce clients. They're doing extremely well, and they're up to that stage where they can really go international. But the problem is all of their money is stuck within purchasers who want to pay them in 60 days. So on paper, they look like they're making a lot of money. So they're making a lot of money, but if they want to grow, they need a facility to get extra cash flow, to buy more stock and to send it out. So a lot of people don't realize that just because you have profit, it doesn't necessarily mean you have cash in the bank. So that's a really big issue. Another issue, I guess, is clients not understanding the value of proper advice. So I just did a video on this, and hopefully I'll release it in a couple of weeks. And it's about the three main reasons why you shouldn't listen to your best mate about tax advice. So that's something I thought, we always get that. Everyone comes in and says, "Hey, look, my friend Bill, he just told me that he's got a trust structure and he's doing this and that." And for some reason, they don't listen to the accountant or don't seek advice. And next thing you know, they've done it, and it just ruins their whole structure in general. So that's a big issue that we see. Look, I can go into the smaller things like bookkeeping and not keeping receipts, but I think those two issues are things that we always see popping up with clients. So I have to deal with that a lot.
I bet you do. And following up from that, is there some things that you see that makes a business successful? So there's the common factors besides maybe good cash flow and having an accountant. Is there anything that makes a business successful that you see on a regular basis?
The things that I see with business owners, if they're in a team, let's say, I think that something that really makes them successful is having a solid team that they know that they can all rely on each other, basically, whether it be employees or other stakeholders in the business or other directors or whatever it is. They have a really, really good relationship with each other. The ones that don't work are the ones where you have, not necessarily don't work, they just, you can see that there's a lot of pressure. Those business owners that take everything on themselves, they're doing absolutely everything. They're the cleaner and the marketer and everything at the same time. And I know we all go through this, but it's the ones that don't want to, I guess, shift and let go are the ones that are struggling the most. In terms of success as well, the clients that we see that actually understand their statements, their financial statements, then they're regularly, they're even coming back to us saying, hey, they're jumping onto QuickBooks or Xero and saying, hey, what's this mean? Why is this in a loss here? Or what's this figure over here? Those are the guys that are really onto it and watching their figures every single week. Some even watch it daily to see what's happening. And those are the ones that are really, really, leveraging off cloud software to make their business go into the right directions. Because if they see that, sales today were lower, they're going to figure out, well, why was it lower? And let's do something about it. So,
and do you think that financial empowerment, like with your clients, obviously you're empowering them to take ownership, because obviously you're advising them, but it's their business. And I think that must be a big difference now, or a different way of doing things, where rather than I sit here as the advisor, I know everything and you're beneath me. Rather, all right, let's empower you so you can do it, and I'll be here to help you when you need it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, exactly right. Look, the feedback that we've had is that our clients have never been so confident running their business, most of the time, like prior, if they were older clients and they came to us, most of the time they were always within that mindset of, oh, am I on time with my BAS? Is my GST on time? Where's my tax at? Can I touch that money in the bank? It doesn't have to be that way anymore. And, these clients are walking around with such high confidence that they can make decisions when they need to. So if they're in a meeting and they figure out there's an opportunity somewhere, they don't have to necessarily come back to us and say, okay, well, do I have the money for this? A lot of them know just then and there that, what their figures are. So it's interesting. Yeah.
I suppose the follow-up to that is the financial literacy. So you mentioned the business that are successful, they understand the statements you're giving them. They're in touch with the cash flow business of the side of the business, which is so important. What's your view on the financial literacy? Obviously in Australia, it's pretty poor. What's your thoughts on that?
I think the younger generation are getting better. They're getting more involved because of, I honestly think, cloud software. They're trying to do it themselves, and it's not until that point where accountant steps in and says, hey, you've been doing it wrong, that they realize, okay, well, maybe I should ask how to do it properly. And a lot of our clients are actually wanting to try things themselves. We're very open to that. My approach is, hey, look, I know you could probably have a bookkeeper or accountant down the track and do your books for you and do your BAS for you. But what if we teach you how to do it and guide you? You understand it. And when you get to that point where you're too big, at least you know why it's there. And that approach that we've been taking, we've done that since we started. And we've found that clients, one, they ask us less questions, which is not always good, but it's good in the sense that, they're confident. And I guess two, they know that when they look at the figures, they know exactly what they're looking at. So it's something that I think that should be taught a little bit more in any sort of course, or even in high school in general. If there was a business course teaching these sort of things, it would be unreal.
Definitely.
But yeah.
So what else besides taking a more of a forward and active approach in your clients' businesses, what else are you doing differently at New Wave that's kind of challenging that stereotype of an old, boring accountant?
Yeah, okay. Look, we're really heading down to social media. In terms of us internally, we're really trying to make a stand within the social media space. 2018 is going to be hopefully a big year for us. I listen to a lot of Gary Vee, and he's a big inspiration of mine. So, reading his book at the moment, and it's just given me a lot of planning to do. So 2018, we're hopefully going to come out with heaps of content, and not just boring content, but hopefully valuable content that people can use without having to pay for it. So I think we're really going to try and shake it up a little bit, and I don't think some accountants are going to be happy about it, because we're going to be giving a lot of free content out, which is something that we think we can do and still retain clients, because we're giving out a bit of value out there. So really hitting that social space. That's our goal for this year.
Excellent.
But so we are going to try and target and go niche, and instead of going, like the ocean-wide approach, we're going to go mile deep into certain niches. And I think I've spoken about it a few times. We're doing e-commerce, construction, and the hospitality industry. Those are the three industries that we target heavily, and we're starting to become, experts to a certain extent in those fields. So that's something a little different that we're doing as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what does your team look like around you at the moment at New Wave?
Okay, so our team, we currently there's 12 of us at the moment. So Perry and myself are the directors here, and we've got recently just put on a mortgage broking arm. There's one person in there. I think we've got three accountants at the moment, 3 bookkeepers, and then the rest are admin staff, and one digital marketer actually.
Yeah.
So it's getting to that stage where culture is a really big thing for us as well. So making sure it's difficult, as most small businesses will probably appreciate that running um, running staff is super difficult.
Yeah.
You have to be there for everyone, make sure you say the right things, and make sure that there's a culture within the business, which is something we're really trying super hard to work on. But yeah, that's our team at the moment.
Excellent. So taking a little bit more of a approach in terms of you and the business. So how long have you been running New Wave for?
So New Wave, I actually started New Wave in 2014 as a bookkeeping business solely. It was just myself. I actually had a friend that was doing it with me, but he pulled out pretty early. I just kept going because I was a manager at an accounting practice at the time. For me, I was quite young. I think I would have been 24, and I was trying to get clients, and I found it super difficult. So this New Wave was a way in for me to get into clients. Let me do your low end bookkeeping work. I shouldn't say low end, but your bookkeeping work, and I'll show you what I can do. And that's basically how I started growing it. So then about 2.5 years ago, I started New Wave full time, quit my full time job, changed it into an accounting practice with bookkeeping, and so since then I started. It was just by myself, working out of my home office, which is a room actually.
Yeah.
And then slowly, Perry came on board, and we got an office here in Broadbeach. It was only Perry and myself, and we decided, let's turn it into a share office to save a bit of money and do what accountants do, and be stingy and save money. But yeah, so we're up to that point now where we've changed it completely. It's no longer a share office, and it's just our team in here, which is it's really good. Yeah, at the moment.
Excellent. So you said you're a manager at an accounting practice, and you were there for a number of years, I assume out of university.
Yeah, straight out of uni. So that was the first place, basically my first full-time accounting job. I think I was there for nearly 7 years. Okay. Yeah, would have been about 6 years, something like that.
And as you said, worked your way up from obviously a graduate up to be managing that business or that practice.
Yeah. So pretty much just worked long hours. It was a different sort of practice because it's something that we've changed here. I was doing a lot of filing, scanning, and doing all those sort of jobs at the start, which was fine because I learned everything.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, we don't have we're in the cloud and all those sort of things now. So our guys always tell them, back in my day, I was scanning and they don't have any of that stuff now. But definitely. So I worked my way up, and I think I did have a chance to work my way up to partner there, but I just decided to just take that leap and try and do it myself. My mind, I thought, well, what if I fail? Then I'll come back. In this day and age, the barriers of entry to being whatever business you want is so much lower. I feel. I don't have those huge startup costs because of all the software online and all those sort of things. And that was just a huge decision for me to say, okay, let's give it a go. Yep. And if it works out, it does. And if it doesn't, then just stand up and keep going.
So what was that? What was the main reason that you wanted to start your own? Was there something that in the back of your mind you knew you wanted to do it on your own, like from the beginning, or something happened?
To be honest, I read a book. There was a book. It was you wouldn't know, it's an accounting book. And it was a guy who was trying to change the industry. He's huge now. He's all over the world, multi-million dollar business this guy's made just off this. But basically, I read his book, and it just started to get me thinking and of where I wanted to be and what I wanted to achieve, and whether this place that I was currently at had that same mentality and mindset as I did. And I didn't think it did. It was very traditional, which was fine. It was very profitable business as well. I think we're at that stage, they got up to about 40 staff at that stage, but It just wasn't a business that I looked at in 5 to 10 years and saw myself being happy in, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big change in my life.
And obviously you said taking that leap, that was obviously a big decision.
Oh yeah, huge decision, because when you're sort of younger, and we had a house at that time too, and just leaving and going out with basically minimal clients.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like not even enough to live off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary, but at the same time, I think you have to do it if it's something that you truly believe in and you want to go for. It's the best time to do it. I honestly think the ages between 20 and 30 is the best time to try and do the most riskiest things that you can do, because you have so much time to recover.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah.
So over the last, how long has it been? 4 years?
Yeah, since I started, yeah.
Yeah, 4 years. So work-life balance over the last 4 years, has there been any?
Look, we do go away on trips, and we've been overseas a couple of times. Some of it was from work. Probably half of it was for work, actually.
Yeah.
And
technically for work.
Yeah. I have to say that legally around here, so so I can claim a deduction.
Yeah.
No, but look, I do try to have a little bit of work-life balance, in the sense, like, I like to keep fit and go to the gym and hang out with my mates. I never forget about hanging out with mates and family.
Yeah.
In my family. But for me, that term work-life balance, I don't know. I don't really take it on board as much as other people. I think that if work is my life, basically, I try to fit it all in together and not really so much balance it. I do what I like, basically, because I love doing it. So if I work, on the weekend, I'm doing it because I love doing it. And as long as it fits in with my girlfriend and my family and all those sort of things, then I'm not so much about that work-life balance. It's about what I love doing more so. So there is a lot. I have to say, there is a lot of work. Like, I'll go home and I'll start watching videos on how to do marketing and those sort of things. And I know some people will probably go home and watch Netflix. I'll go home and watch a Gary Vee episode, followed by maybe a bit of Tony Robbins inspiration, and then something like that, and then that's my night, basically. And in the morning, I'm super pumped.
Go to bed with your mind just racing at 1,000
Yeah,
miles.
yeah. And I love that. I absolutely love doing that, and continuing to just learn and just try and try as many different things as I can. Yeah.
So next question is something I like to ask all the guests that come on the Young Money podcast, and it's probably fitting that I ask an accountant this question, but what does money mean to you?
For me, okay, there's a few things that it actually means to me. In my mind, I always, at the start of it, I thought to myself, well, why am I doing this in the first place? And one, because I love doing it. I love business. It's not so much the accounting side. I don't come here and I say, look, I love accounting. I love business, basically. So in terms of money, what does money mean for me? It's freedom, basically, financial freedom. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, money, I hate having money. It's just one of those, things that everyone talks about. But I love having money, to be honest. For me, I can do the things that I will be able to do with it. From starting businesses, helping other people, that's my goal. I don't buy much for myself at all. It's not one of those things where, if I made $1 million, then I'd go out and buy a Ferrari and a nice suit and walk around. I'm more, okay, if I got $1 million, what am I going to do with it to make it grow even bigger, or give it back? So those are the two things I want to do. I want to give it back in terms of helping my family first. I've got a big family, and I want to help as many of them as I can, whether it means I start a business for them or just help them in general. And then I want to give back to the community in some way. And then for myself, I want to build a legacy. That's what I want to do. And building businesses that people, and get that. I like respect as well, and being able to pass that down to someone else is something that I'd want to do. And I think that takes money for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of it too.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets there.
Yeah. No, that's great. And any final tips to leave listeners with? Any business tips or business insights?
Business tips. Okay, I guess for startups, the biggest tip is to not to really I guess calculate where your best investment is in terms of advice, right? So you can buy so many different expenses in your business, but not all of them are necessarily something that will help your business grow or as an asset. So be very careful. It's okay to spend money, but spend it on the right things. So I always think legal, financial advisors, accountants, as much as people say, they're the most expensive things you can go to, they're probably the best in terms of growing your business itself.
Yeah.
With the right advice, the right team, it really puts you, 2-3 steps ahead of your competitors or anyone else in your field because you're doing the right thing. Whereas it might take this other person a couple of years to figure that out. So, yeah. And I guess if I bring it back to what accountants do, tax-wise, my biggest piece of advice, and I learned this from, I just had a mind blank, he's from Shark Tank, the IT guy from Brisbane, will come back to me. But anyway, he said the biggest piece of advice it was actually from him. He said, never spend $1 to make 30 cents.
Yep.
So if you think about that one and hold that tight, just don't start spending things just to save tax unless you really need to. Yeah.
I think that's a great point.
Mm.
And where can people go to find you online?
Perfect. Okay, so our website is www.new-wave.com.au. We're also on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We've got a Twitter account. So if you're anywhere on there, you'll be able to find us quite easily. And we're located here in Broadbeach Waters on the Gold Coast. So feel free to give us a call anytime.
Excellent. All right. Thanks for being on the Young Money podcast.
Perfect. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.